Hello, hello. All right, folks, here we are. Last live stream of 2019. And you know what? I got some explaining to do to some people. And that's why I'm coming on right now today. 1 o'clock, 1:09 Eastern time zone. Coming on today. Because some people I need to explain some shit to. And I do owe an explanation to some people. But some people I don't owe shit to. I don't owe an explanation to some people. And I'm going to touch on that right now. I'm going to let you know who the people are I owe explanations to, who the people are that I don't owe a fucking goddamn thing to. Okay? And I'm going to talk about that today. I'm not on here to shit on anybody. I'm not on here to talk shit about anybody's channel or them or this or that. I'm here to lay out my fucking whole entire side of an explanation that I need to give to certain people. So that's what I'm here to say today. So if you're down with that and you want to listen for a little while, come and check it out. If you really don't give a fuck, then don't give a fuck. That's fine too. So, I mean, where do we all start? I'll start off with this. Some people are questioning why I'm going on certain live streams and why I'm interacting with certain people. I've answered this question a lot of times before, but obviously people want to hear an updated version of that and what the situation is, because on these live streams that I do with Filthy Mouth Gamer and Chris and the people that have worked here, we really don't bring up personal shit that much. It's more of a have fun and just live stream and chill out and blah blah blah. We do touch on shit, yes, but it's mostly just to have fun and talk about stupid shit. So once in a while I make these videos where I gotta come on and I gotta fucking vent and I gotta say what I gotta say about certain situations and things that go down within this community, platform, whatever. So I've been asked a lot of questions in the last 48 hours about a lot of situations, and I'm gonna answer them. I'm coming on to answer them. And I will take anybody's questions, anybody's phone calls after I'm done laying out some of the shit that I have to talk about. And I'll answer anything if anybody has questions for me. Because honestly, this really is fucking stupid fucking shit that keeps going on in this whole fucking shit that's been going on. I mean, it really is a mess. It is a fucking mess. You know, everybody that's here, everybody that comes on in the chat, on these shows, interacts, doesn't interact, just watches it. They're all here for one main reason. We all share the same main reason why we're all here watching all this shit, and we interact and we talk in the chats, or we're on shows or we're not, is to have fun, to have an escape, to go somewhere where we're not in our regular lives, to hear something that we might enjoy listening about, or we might want to debate about, or whatever the case may be. Everybody comes here for certain reasons. With that said, we all come here for that main reason. We share that main thing in common right off the bat. We come on YouTube and watch this shit and interact for the fun of it, for the fucking entertainment of it. All right. With that said, things get all fucked up and twisted amongst adults. And a lot of people are adults. I know we have some younger people in this community, but you're adults too. You guys are adults too, okay? You guys are grown-ass people. We're all grown-ass people, right? Some are older than others. I'm an old fuck, 42. I get that. I'm not an 18 or a 20-year-old. But you're a grown-up too if you're 18 or 20. You know what respect is. You know what the fuck's going on in this world. Doesn't matter if you're from, here or England or somewhere else. If you're 18 or 20, you know what the fuck's going on. You know what respect is and what we're all here for, right? So there's people who love drama. There's people who love shit that are on here for drama. There's people that are on here for comedy. There's people that are on here for fucking whatever. And I get that. And people have been asking me why I've been going on Drama Club and Scott stuff and talking to Scott NYR and all these guys over there, Mars Mira and Dave, who's having a situation going on with Joe and all this stuff, and everybody knows about it. Everybody, it's all out in the open. And people have been asking me why I go there and I do that, and I speak to these guys, and why I give them the time of day, and why I bother. Some people have even said, why are you going and speaking to bottom feeders? Like, that is just a fucked up comment in its own. Bottom feeders. And I know I've said shit about these guys, but I've said shit about Joe. Joe says shit about me. They've said shit about me. I've said shit about them. We've all said shit about each other. You know, who's to say a month from now, Joe's cool with them and calling into their show again? Because that's how it's always been. It's always been either me or Joe, either me or JB, either me or this guy or that guy have been over there while the other people are not talking to them. It's always been like that. This is nothing different or new, okay? It's always been there's one or the other. It's either I'm all right with them or Joe is, and I'm not. Or I'm okay with them, Joe's not. Right now, I'm all right with them, and Joe isn't, right? That's the only thing that's different. And you know what? I went there and I hung out with these guys, and you don't hear me on other shows because I don't get invited to other shows anymore. I don't get invited to come on to JB shit. I don't get invited to come on to Drew the Gatekeeper stuff. I don't get invited to come on all these shows. The only people that invite me on their shows have been like Alex Payne, and this is as of late. Because if you want to go over the whole 3 years, well, a lot of people have invited me. But as of late, the only people that have asked me to come on their shows have been the guys from Drama Club calling me on, and I know it's YR, their producer, who's called me on Skype several times when they go live, and that's how I go on there. That's how I end up on there. There has never been a situation where and I'm sure those guys will vouch for this, where I've went to those guys and we've lined up me being premiered on their show, or me talking to them about, hey guys, what do you want to do on tonight's show, and how do you guys want to approach this, and should I do this? And like, there's never been anything like that at all. Maybe once or twice I said, hey, you guys want me to call in as that guy that you guys like, or something like that. Maybe that's about as far as it's went. Okay? And it's just, the fact of the matter is, what happens in a month from now or 2 months from now when me and Scott get into a situation, or me and YR get into something, and I'm not talking to them and they're not talking to me, and they're mad at me, I'm mad at them type of situation, and then Joe calls into their show. What's the difference? What is the difference? Joe doesn't get questioned when he calls in there. Nobody goes to him and says, and you know what? Maybe they do behind the scenes. Maybe they go to Joe and they say, hey Joe, why are you calling in to these fucking guys like you do? But that's behind the scenes. But with me, when I call into them, it's brought out into the open. It's brought out to everybody to hear and see, right? But when other people do it, it's behind the scenes they approach them. So case in point, Drew the Gatekeeper. He leaks out that we had a conversation between each other about him questioning me about going on these shows, and me, well, not so much going on that show, but more of me calling Joe out on a previous live stream that I did last month. And by the time the conversation was over, Drew the Gatekeeper apologized to me and said, Ken, you know what? You're right. I shouldn't have questioned you about that, because you are right. Everyone else has done it too. You're right. And that's how it was left. And then I hear, once I'm on a live stream, that, well, he brought it up on air. And I'm sitting there scratching my head, and this is the first I hear about it, that it's actually been brought up on air. And I'm saying to myself, why would he? And somebody says, oh, well, he was just referring to somebody in the chat who asked him, you know, who is this phone call? Who did you have this phone call with? And I said to myself, well, how the hell could anyone in the chat know that I had this private conversation with Drew when it was just me and him and no one else knows about it? So I sat there scratching my head saying, well, how did that happen? And then Drew told me, when I spoke to him just before, that he was down and out about his Christmas, which he has every right to be. And he was venting or whatever, and it leaked out that he had a conversation with a friend, and it was a hard one. Let me tell you something. Out of the 4 years that I've been doing this now, nothing gets on air unless you want it to. Unless you want it to hit the airwaves, okay? Nothing gets on air unless you want it to get on air. I don't think there's one time that something ever got on these shows that I didn't really want to be on there. Okay? So we all know, and Drew, you could say what you want, we all know that there was a reason why those feelers were put out there. Those cookies were spreaded around with crumbs. There was a reason why those crumbs got spreaded out on the countertop. Because it came up and it was asked about, and then bang, it came out. Drew went to bat for Joe. Now, the only reason I would think that you would want that information to get out there, that you called me out, which you apologized for and said you were wrong, the only reason you would want that information to get out is for either one of two reasons in my mind. Okay? And maybe I'm wrong, but the one of two reasons in my mind would be to appeal to Joe and say, hey, look, sticking up for you, buddy. Clout, clout. Or you want to paint me as some fucking asshole that you got to call out. When, let's not forget, a year or two ago, the shoe was on the other foot. And I was being told by somebody to not be friends with you. And I was being told by somebody to not plug you or to go on your show and not support you in any way, shape, or form because you're doing a show directly up against a paywall show that we've all been doing and putting so much time and effort into. The shoe was on the other foot at one point. And when that shoe was on the other foot, I came to you and I said to you, Drew, if you want to like go down this road and keep doing what you're doing, you have your setup, you have your basement on, you're showing your liquor in the background, you're getting going, you get the microphone, you're doing your thing. If you want to keep doing it and be embraced by the big dog, I highly suggest you move your show. And I didn't say to Sunday nights, I didn't pick your night or anything like that. But you said to me you have problems with your family, problems with this and that, which you've made public. I'm not saying anything that nobody knows. You made public, and you said, hey, here, it's all out here, you know, and this is happening and that's happening. And when that time was going on, I suggested to you, bro, you know, to save face with Joe, you should move your shit, because there is an issue with you having your shit up against the paywall show, one of the most popular shows in the community. I didn't shit on you. I didn't go on my show at that point and bury you. I didn't shun you. I didn't say, hey, you know what? I'm going to listen to Joe and I'm not going to talk to this fuck and I'm not going to say anything to him. I'm just going to let him rot away, let him do his show on Saturday nights. I'm going to stop going on there and stop interacting with him like you did to me. And we all know in this community, Ken hasn't been on Derailed or been asked or had Drew really interact much lately because of that. And I know that's why. And I'm not calling him out as a man and saying, hey, dude, when the shoe was on the other foot, I didn't do that to you. I didn't listen to Joe. I still befriended you and still went on your show and still was fucking cool with you. I didn't come out and say that. I just let it be. I just let it go, because I always feel that the chips will fall and things will fall into place like they should. That's the way I feel about it. And I do touch on certain situations in this community. And I do talk about Joe, and I did do videos last month, but I've also stuck up for the guy in certain situations as well, when I probably shouldn't have. And as far as those other guys that I've been going on their shows, they are the only ones that have asked me, hey, Ken, you want to do this guy's voice on the show, or things that I've always done in this community on other shows that I can't do no more. So where am I supposed to go? So I go to bottom feeders. That's what some of you people call them. And I understand I've called them every name in the fucking book as well. I have. I've called Joe every name in the book. He's called me every name in the book. I've called, numerous people every name in the book. I've had beef with numerous people. Yeah, I get it. But right now, at this point in this game, those guys are the only ones who are like, hey, Ken, you're laughing with me and sending me messages. And like, I'm not best friends with these guys, and they know this too. They're more tighter together than I am with any one of them. Okay? And people know that. I said this on their live stream last night. They even asked me why I was there, or the question came up in the chat or whatever. And I said, well, is there anyone else out there? And this ain't a knock to them like, oh, if there was other people asking me to go on their shows, then I wouldn't be going on Drama Club and these guys' shows. No, this is not a knock to them about that. But I'd be going on both. I'd be going on other people's stuff if they asked me to come on and I had an open schedule to do it. I'd be doing that too if I can. And, Minnesota Vikings invites me onto a show all the time, right? And that night is a hard night for me to do shit. I either am free or I'm not on that night. So Sometimes I can come on, sometimes I can't. Most of the time I can't come on. It's not a knock to them like I won't come on your show because you guys are bottom feeders, or like it would be the same thing if JB was still asking me to come on, or give him a phone call, or whatever the case may be. If I couldn't do it, I couldn't do it. You know, Sunday nights is open for me now in this last month, and Saturdays and sometimes Fridays. And I've told so many people, I went to Joe in October and said, you know what, or later on in November, somewhere in there, and said, you know, I'm willing to let bygones be bygones, and I'll come back and we could do whatever the fuck you want to do. Corrupted, we could do a one-off, we could do, you know, the show again, whatever you want to do. And this was months ago. And like I've said a million times, it was shot down. It wasn't even, you know, so I understood from there on out, okay, that's not going to happen no more. So I haven't been begging people to be on their shit. You know, that was the case I tried to talk about the other day during the live stream I did. But that's the situation, you know? I'm not brawling with those guys, you know, YR and Scott and all these guys right now, and I'm all right with them. And when I do talk to them, we laugh and talk about normal shit when I do interact with them. They're not on there like saying, you know, Ken, you see what this guy said or that guy said, or fuck this guy or fuck that guy. It's just the normal conversations like normal people have, like laughing about something that's in the news or something that's my interactions, okay? We're all not best fucking friends. I'm not on shows. I'm not a co-host. I'm not, you know, like, just like I'm not on anybody else's shit. You know, I'm on foul mounts. That's it. You know, I go on other people's shit if I can make it, and they're on live and I'm there and I can do it. So that's the situation right now. People are actively shunning me. I mean, I don't know if you guys see it or not, and it's all right. I'm not complaining about it. I'm just doing me. Yeah, I might bring up Joe. If I'm asked a question on anybody's live stream or in anybody's chat or anything I'm on or doing live or even behind the scenes, I'm going to try to answer it as truthfully as I can, 100%. So if somebody asked me on a live stream, Ken, what do you think about Drew bringing up a phone call or a conversation that you guys had the other night? I'm going to answer it as truthfully as I can. And if I'm in shock over it, which I was, that our private shit got out. And, you know, Drew mentioned to me that he said that I said, I'm going to release DMs on him, and like I'm threatening to release DMs of private messages and this and that. Like, when the fuck have I ever done that? When have I ever released anything private of Joe or JB or, you know I did it with Scott. I mean, me and him went back and forth on a lot of private shit, you know? But when the fuck have I ever done that? And yeah, I've said before, like, oh man, maybe I should release this or release that, but have I ever done it? Am I known for doing that? So that's why I came on, to let the people that I do give a shit about in this whole thing, and the people that I do care about in this whole thing. Nice basket today. I saw it. My daughter just got home from her basketball game, and she hit a friggin' 3-point shot, man. That was like insane today. Insane. So, and listen, Danimal. Like, there was a point where Joe came to me and warned me so many times about Danimal and watch out for him and this and that. And, you know what? I interacted with Danimal a lot, and he called me about 15 times the other day, and I got really, really aggravated about it because I told him earlier in the day, hey, dude, I'm out with my kids, and I'll hit you back up if you're around. We can bullshit then. And he keeps calling me and calling me and calling me. So I left him a message, and I said exactly this. Hey, dude, I don't want to be a jerk, but can you please stop calling me? I told you I'm with my family, and I'll hit you up when I have the time. And then he writes back to me, you don't want to be a jerk, but you're being one. Go fuck yourself, basically. And I'm like, what? You tell me to go fuck myself over that? Like, come on, man. You know, so this is the type of shit that I'm dealing with. SC Steve, who's in our chat all the time at the show. You guys know him. trolls. Sometimes he says cool shit, interesting shit. Sometimes he's being cool. Sometimes he's being a total fucking dick. You never know with him. But he gets mad because the other night, Gorilla Strong, a guy who's loved by everybody, and Johnny Ray were in the chat fucking with him like he fucks with everybody, and they have wrenches. So they boxed him out of the chat and fucked with him. So he goes on Twitter, blows me up, blocks me, hates me. So like this is the type of shit that I deal with, and people question me on the moves that I make and the things that I do. I don't mean to offend people, but like, you know, I said this on their live stream last night. I don't know exactly what people want from me anymore, because a lot of people come to me and say stuff like, hey, you know, how do you feel about this? Or how do you feel about this person doing that? How come this person doesn't ask you to come on their show? And how come this person doesn't do that no more? And, you know, I don't have the answers to that. I don't know why people, you know, I have my ideas, you know, and one of my ideas is now I'm my shoe is on the other foot. I'm on the outside looking in now. It's my turn. You know, when I was part of things and people were telling me not to talk to this person or talk to that person or interact with that person, or if you're over there, you don't work with me, or if you're doing this with that person and plugging them, you know, don't look for me for a plug. Like when that was going on and I had the shoe on the other foot, I, you know, lived that. So now I know. So now when I'm sitting here on the other side, I'm thinking to myself, okay, maybe that's what's going on now, because I don't get asked to be on my friends' shows anymore. People that I respected and liked and laughed my ass off with for 3 years, you know? So, and then people ask me, why are you going on their shit? Why are you going on that shit? And how come you don't come on here? Well, this is why. This is, you know, why. Here's your answer. If other people were inviting me on their shit, I'd be on it, hanging out like old times, you know? So I'm going where people want me. I don't want to go somewhere where I'm not wanted. You know, have you ever done that in your life? Gone somewhere where people don't want you? Do you know how shitty that feels to be somewhere where you're not wanted? So I'm not going to go somewhere where I'm not wanted, you know? And then if somebody shows interest in me and says, hey man, that was so funny, the imitation you did on this guy or that guy, can you do that for me on my shit, or do that for us tomorrow, or say something like that, or tell a joke, or tell this, or tell that? Well, of course I'm going to want to do that. And there's not a hell of a lot of people interacting with me anymore asking me to do that. Am I sad about it? Yeah. Am I mad about it? No. Do I give a shit enough to fucking make a big deal about it? No, I'm not. I'm taking my licks as they come. This is the decision I've made here on YouTube and Twitter, and to leave certain shows and to turn my back on certain things. And I'm dealing with the repercussions of that. But to be questioned of my integrity and this and that is not right, because you know what? I think I've been pretty damn honest with a lot of people who support us, foul mouths, and I think I've been pretty upfront about who I am and what I could say on these shows. I think I've been really good to certain people who have taken advantage of that. Okay, there's people out there that have taken advantage of me being good to them when other people have shunned them and outcasted them. You know? Because I'm always the type of guy that I like to embrace the unembraceable. I like to be for the guy who gets shunned. I like to be out there for the guy who gets thrown out. I want to give a spot to the people who don't have a spot. That's what this has always been. That's what I've always wanted from day one. Back when we were doing Keeping It 100 on this channel, that's what it was all about. That's what it's still about. I haven't lost that core value of the reason why I'm on this fucking shit. I haven't lost that value. I want this to, yeah, we went a little more mainstream, but we're a little fucking channel. I know my place. I know where we're at. I know what the deal is. You know, I'm not over my head on this. I don't think more of what I'm doing than where I am. I know what it is. I know where we're at and what it is. You know, it is what it is. That's what I keep telling everybody. 2020, it is what it is. So I asked the question, what do people want from me? What kind of Ken do you want in 2020? Like, do you want me not to call into anybody? Because if I can't, see, that's like some people are like, okay, if you're not calling into Joe's and JB's and Drew's show and interacting with those guys, we don't want you to interact with those guys. So don't interact with nobody. So that's where I'm at. If I'm not speaking with those people and cool with those people to be invited on their shit or them to come on my shit, that I shouldn't interact with anybody, that's not fucking fair. So understand the position I'm in, you know? For those people out there that are questioning why I am where I am and what I'm doing. You know, I have not put the line in the sand yet. I haven't done that. Although a lot of people want me to do that. A lot of people that I speak to that support big time what we do with foul mounts, and there are a lot of good people out there that support what we do, man. Some rabid motherfuckers that do love us no matter what. No matter if I'm friends with this guy, that guy, you know, no matter if I got content up lately or not, these people are avid, rabid fucking FMN. FMN, they're out there. They're all FMN, 100%. They don't watch anything else. They're out there. Those people are out there, okay? And those people and some other people, they want me to draw a line in the sand. They say enough of being Mr. Nice Guy. Enough of letting people take fucking kindness for weakness. Enough of it. Enough, Ken. Shed it. Shed the fucking skin for 2020, bro. Shed it. Be yourself. Comment on things as they pop up in your brain, because I haven't been doing that for 3-4 years here. I don't comment on things as they pop up in my brain. You know, real deal things that'll offend people, that or might call people out, or might, you know, question things. I don't sit there and say, hey, this is the newest Dick Rider of the week, or this is the newest Dick Rider of the month award, or, you know, like, we don't go out and say, hey, look at this guy trying to ride the the clout train, you know, and climb his way up to like we don't call people out and say shit like that, because we try to skip the drama. But maybe I need to mix the funny in with the honey. You know what I mean? Put a little funny with the honey, man, and let it roast. Because I think 2020 is going to be a whole new ball game. You know, and I think I need to shed this whole, you know, oh, don't say that about this person. Oh, don't call that guy out. Let's be nice. Let's be cool. Let's be all right. We're here to have fun. We're here to do, fuck that. And then whoever likes me and likes what we do here likes it. And whoever doesn't, man. You know, I'm getting to the point now where it's like, you know what? The gloves need to fucking come off and people need to start being who they are. You know what I mean? That's just what I feel. So it's not being fake. I'm not being fake by who I am the last 3 years. I'm being a good guy. I'm trying to be a good guy. When people get fucked with on the show and like Filthy says something to somebody or and like they say something, like I always try to be like, oh, you know, come on, and then I do get involved in it too. I do throw my own punches and do my own damage and make my own bad decisions, and you know, just like anybody else. But for the most part, I'm the buffer guy on this shows. I'm the buffer guy in this reality, in this fucking Twitter sphere. I'm the buffer guy. I'm the guy on my shit with my people who goes, oh, come on. And when I do that, you know, maybe I shouldn't do that anymore. Maybe I should just not give a fuck. And maybe I should comment on things and call people out the way I see it from here on out. You know, I don't want to drill that shit night after night. I don't want to be a drama show. I don't want to fucking deal with drama night after night and this and that. But maybe I need to just let it all loose and just say, hey, you know what? If drama comes on a show, then do it. If you feel the need to bring something up that you don't like, that you see going on in the community, bring it up and just do it. Make the show about it then. Fuck it. Even if it's 10 minutes of it or it's a whole 3 hours of it, just fuck it. Just go with it. Just be yourself. Just say yourself. Say what you want to say. Say what's on your mind. You see something that pisses you off, Ken? Then fucking bring it up and bring it out. Instead of saying, no, you know what? It's not the time. It's not the place. Maybe it's the time finally, and maybe it's the place finally, 2020. Maybe that's the situation that I need to embrace and that I need to start doing. Maybe I've been lying to myself. Maybe I've been wearing this fucking shell for 3 years. No pun intended. But maybe I've been wearing this shell for 3 years that finally I need to turn around and say, you know what? Fuck it, man. You know? And I'll give you a for instance. Like, the difference between now and what I could be is I could come on here and just out of nowhere be like, you know what? This guy, and call their name out on another show and say the person's name and say, this guy is a real true dick rider, and you can tell he's just trying to drive the fucking gravy train on his way to the top, on his way to get on the big show, on his way to get the big guy to see him. Step in those step ladders, you know what I mean? Get on the shows that are connected. Step on those step ladders. Get that rung going. Get those rungs going on the ladder. You know what I mean? Yeah, listen, Brian S., I agree with you in the chat. I think this is dumb shit. You know, and I try not to bring this on to the regular shows. So, you know, once in a while, I got to come up and I got to fucking do something like this. You know what I mean? And it sucks, but so I really don't want to do this. Wait, what is going on here? Drew, I see that you just, I don't know why it didn't come up for some reason, but hold on one second. I'm going to see if I could repeat that on there, because I didn't see it and I didn't hear it. Hold on. Well, I agree, man. It is stupid shit, and this is why, like I said, I don't bring this on to the regular shows and shit. You know, I try to just keep it separate. But maybe that's where I'm making a mistake. You know what I mean? Maybe that's where I got to be like, hey, you know what? Don't worry about keeping anything separate. Don't worry about not worrying about, you know, oh, I don't want drama to pop up. I just want to just do a fucking good show and have fun. And maybe I got to stop worrying about shit like that and just, you know, just let it go. Just whatever comes up, comes up. You know what I mean? Whatever happens, happens, you know? All right, there it is right there. I don't know why I don't hear it, though. It's really low. That's weird. Oh, I know why.
It's Kane! King, it's Kane! It's Kane!
There you go.
Cerebral palsy.
You have never been uninvited to my show, as I assume the feeling is mutual. I have never stopped listening or donating to this show. Sometimes it's under funny names so people may not know that. I shout you out nightly on my channel.
Well, I mean, Drew, listen, you could say that, right? But the fact of the matter is that you have not come on here and I have not gone on there. And you have not said, hey, Ken, come on over and come on the show tonight like you used to. And I have not said it to you. So that's the fact of the matter. And that's for a reason, correct? I mean, why else is it? We all used to come on each other's shows. So there's obviously a reason why we're not anymore. You know? And it's not because of me. You know, like I see you in the chat. I see you in there before. I've seen you in there. And I also know when you're not there. Yeah, everybody knows who's missing. You know? But I mean, let's be honest about it. We're not inviting each other to be on each other's shows, and that's for some fucking reason. I don't know why. I could only speculate. You know? And to be honest with you, JB is the one who put me on that track when he, you know, said to me, fuck this. I'm not going to let somebody decide where I go and what I do and who I hang out with. Fuck that shit. I'm going to call in. I had fun. You know, that's what put me on that track. Like, damn, man, that's like, fuck, that's what's being said. So I guess I just assumed that that's being said to you, just like it was to me at one point about you. You know what I mean? Like, so, and I just explained that before. So like, it's, I just assumed it, you know? So like, you're sitting here saying, hey man, you've never not been invited to my shit, but like, I would never think about just calling into somewhere like, and just being like, hey, what's up, Drew? What's going on? You know, like, I'm just calling in, you know, like after all this time. Like, you obviously have people on your show now that I don't even know that don't like me because I guess they hear you say what you've said on shows. Like you said last night on your show about a friend of mine decided to go somewhere else and shit all over me, which that's not what I did last night. I didn't shit all over you at all. I didn't go on that show to talk about you. It got brought up that our conversation that we had was put on air somehow, and it was told to me that somebody referenced it in the chat, which I scratched my head and was like, how the fuck did anybody in the chat know? You know? And I don't know what your excuse is as far as letting that out there, but like, you know, I know nothing gets on these airways unless you want them to. So I don't want to call you a liar, but I don't think that would have got out there unless you wanted people to know that me and you had a conversation, which, since it's out there, you know, I can talk about it like you did. And the conversation was, you came to me and questioned me why I called Joe out on a certain thing that was going down at that point. And I explained it to you, and you basically, at the end of that conversation, basically said to me, you know what, you're right. And I'm sorry, you're right. I was wrong by questioning you. You're right. So I don't know if people know that, because I didn't hear what you said about it, but you told me you said just the basics around it. So, you know, I was just in shock that it was brought up to begin with and somebody knew about it in the chat. So I didn't know how that went down. And Drew informed me that people knew about it in the chat because he kind of hinted towards it, because he was telling people how shitty of a Christmas he had. Well, dude, I get it. You know, not all of us had a good Christmas. You know, like, unfortunate shit happened in my family for Christmas as well. You know, so I understand how shitty that feels. And I know some other people in this community had some pretty shitty Christmases as well. They were by themselves. They were sick. They weren't feeling well. They didn't have a lot of family around them. They couldn't go and see their family, or whatever the case may be. There's a lot of people struggling this fucking Christmas season in this community. So, you know, it's not just you and me, Drew. You know? And I know you know that. But I'm just saying, the struggle's for everyone. The struggle is out there for fucking everyone. And as far as me talking to those guys at Drama Club, okay, Dave Rose is over there, right? Dave Rose is a huge part of this community, whether you like him or you don't. Okay? Mars Mira, been on all these shows. He's been on Joe's show numerous times, been on our stuff with the rap battle and stuff like that. Everybody knows him. You know, Old Man Davey, everybody knows him from Joe. He's been there for years. He's been a supporter on and off Joe. You know, YR, we all know YR. We all know Young Republicans. Been on this show a million times, been on Joe's shit a million times, interacted, said some horrible, hurtful shit to a lot of us, and we've said some horrible, hurtful shit to him. You guys know the whole history. And last but not least, Scott, the cake man himself, aka the cake stalker. Now, everyone knows the history there. Everyone knows what's gone on. Now, whether you hate the guy or you like him, whether you back him or you don't, the fact of the matter is, he's a very huge part of the community. So, why is it so bad that at this time, at this point, I'm all right with these guys? But who's to say in a month from now, me and him are not arguing and Joe's calling them? Because that could very well be the case next month. It could very well be Joe calling them next month. So when Joe goes on his live stream and he says, yeah, whatever, fuck you, Scott, go over there and talk to Ken and be friends with him again, asshole, or shit like that, keep in mind, we're down this road for like the 50th time. This is nothing new. And next month, it could flip-flop again. And I know that. But at this point right now, when I speak to those guys, it's not all drama. When I speak to those guys, it's not all fucking hate, and it's not all talking about other people. It's actual, you know, conversations and shit that's funny. And hey, you want to do that invitation on the show? Or hey, you want to, you know, like YR. I played his shit the other night for the first time in a long time. I played him doing song parodies about me, which I found really fucking funny. They were in a high-pitched voice, and it was fucking hilarious to me. So I played it on the show, you know? So this is interaction. This is what we've always been doing. It's just that you people don't see me on Joe's or JB's or Drew's shit, and you think I'm taking sides and I'm putting a line in the sand. I'm not doing that. There is no line in the sand. There's not one motherfucker out there that can tell me I told them not to go somewhere or to go somewhere. There's not one. I have not said to one person, hey man, don't go on this show, don't talk to this person, or else I'm not talking to you no more. Not one. So, Drew, just like on your side, there's a lot of chirping going on by people and people saying things and this and that. Like you said to me earlier, you know, somebody said, Ken said he's going to play, show all your DMs to people and shit like that. Like, I would never fucking do that, first of all. I've never done that to people. You know, I did it to Scott, and I know I mentioned that because I have done it. But it was one case that I've done that, and at that point, me and Scott were brawling, and everything was out in the open. So I have nothing to hide, man. And anything that's out there that I say to people, they could play that for anybody. Put it on your Twitter, put it on whatever, because it's the same shit I'll say live on air. Because I do not speak to anybody anymore unless I would say the same thing on air. So what I say to people privately is what I won't say it to them unless I will say it on air. So that's how I interact with people now. And that is a self-defense mechanism that I built that it saves me from being caught up in a position where I say one thing to one person and then I say something else on air, which has happened a lot to me in the last 3 years. So that's like kind of something I do now that I made it a rule. I will not say anything to anybody privately that I will not say on air in front of everybody. So there's nothing shocking out there. Like when Scott played all those messages of me talking to Scott about Joe, some people were shocked and like, oh my God, and this and that. And like all those messages, I don't take one of them back. I don't take anything back that I said because I was frustrated at that point and I was pissed. And that's when I did play private messages of Scott also. That's the only time I ever did some shit like that. I would never play people's private shit. But like, you know, people want to refer to shit. Like, I mean, that's just as bad. If you're sitting on air and you're like, hey, this was the conversation this guy had with me and this and that, that's like almost the same thing as leaking shit, you know? So whatever. It's just whatever. I mean, I don't know why you would even, and I'm speaking to Drew, like even put that out there to begin with, that me and you had this conversation, which you apologized for. And you said, you know what, you were right. I shouldn't have called you out on it because it is the same shit that everybody else does here. So Drew, you're telling me that I could have come onto your show at any point I wanted and I would have been fully embraced. It wouldn't have been weird that I showed up out of nowhere, uninvited, onto your show. Because I would think that I would make people feel weird by me just showing up on your shit when me and you haven't interacted much on air at all in the last month or two. So, I mean, and that's the truth. Come on, you know that's the truth, you know? So that's my excuse to the people that matter and to the people that I want to hear that. Like, that have asked me questions and asked me why I was going on this show or that show and asking me if there is a line in the sand or not and this and that. No, I think I've answered pretty much all of it for everybody and why I went on certain shows and why I didn't, you know? What? Somebody told me that people are deleting people's messages in the chat. I don't know why. I'm not watching anything right now. I don't know what's going on in there at all. But all I ask of the people who are mods in there is to just try to do the right thing, you know what I mean? And I know most of you guys do. That's why I don't really check on it. You guys can all govern yourself, you know what I mean? So, and there's a lot of mods in there. So you guys all govern yourselves, man. If you feel something shouldn't be on there and you're getting rid of it, then I guess that's what a mod is for. But, you know, just make sure that it's all, you know, I don't want to, you know, it's like the situation with SC Steve. It's like we do, you know, it's like you make one move in the chat and somebody does something and it's like, you know, this guy gets mad and he has to beat me up on fucking Twitter now for the next week and a half and talk about me on every show and beat me up in every chat. That's the type of shit that goes on in this fucking shitty atmosphere that is YouTube and Twitter and all this shit. You know, and it doesn't even have to be like that, you know? So, I don't know, man. Drew, listen, we don't ever forget where our beginnings came from. You know what I mean? And like, and I'm not saying you have. I'm just saying like, let's not forget where we all came from. And let's not forget who did what when the shoe was on the other foot. Because Drew, when the shoe was on the other foot, I did the right thing. You know that. And I'm not saying you're doing the wrong thing. I'm just thinking that a lot of wires got crossed, and I'm sure you could understand why I felt like, hey, I'm being shunned by people that, I thought were my friends and interacted with. And there's no doubt I'm being shunned. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I mean, it's not hard to see. A guy like JB, who is still friends with me on Facebook, Twitter, and all these things, still friends with me on these things, didn't block me, didn't, Merry Christmas to each other. We're not on each other's shows. There's a reason for that, guys. Like, come on. And then people wonder why I pop up on other people's shows. And honestly, I've said a lot of things about a lot of those guys in that room, drama club guys. I've said a lot of bad things about them, just like they've said about me. But you know what? Like, I don't consider them bottom feeders. Like, that's horrible. And I know I've said shit like that before, but you guys know me who have watched me for 3 years. I'm not the type of person to be like, oh, that person's beneath me. They're a bottom feeder, or that person's not good enough for me to speak to. Everybody's good enough for me to talk to. Who the fuck am I not to speak to somebody? So I understand there's people out there that don't like Scott. I understand there's people out there that don't like me, don't like Joe, don't like Dave, Rose, don't like Drew. I understand that. It comes with the territory. So I don't expect anybody to be like, oh, I don't, yes, I like everyone's show that Ken goes on. I follow Ken, and I like everything that he goes on. I don't care what he goes on and this and that. I don't expect everybody to agree with everything I do. And I know that there are some people out there that do love FMN so much that they don't give a fuck where I go, what I say, what I do. They're going to be supporting us no matter what. And I love those motherfuckers, because those people are just true blue, down to earth, like, hey, FMN, man, I'm here for you. And I don't ask them to do anything for me. I don't ask them to fight my battles. I don't ask them to just watch me. Okay? That's the way it is. All right. Love you. So, that's my excuse to the people that matter to me. And the people on the Patreon that are my family and that directly support Foul Mouths Network, those are the people that I'm firstly talking to right now on this whole thing. Those people. And I know a lot of them are understandable anyway and don't even need an excuse from me. They know that I know Ken's doing the right thing, and he might not always do the right thing, but I'll at least try to. I'll tell you that right away. I'll at least try to do the right fucking thing by everybody. But hey, I don't always do the right thing because I'm human like everybody else in this motherfucker. Don't always make the right moves. I don't always do the correct thing. I get that. But I don't directly go and try to fucking hurt people and say that they, I don't try to hurt your character or who you are. Like, I would never go on a live stream and be like, Drew, I had a conversation with him, and like, I would never bring up that conversation we had, because I wouldn't want people to be like judging you on a private conversation that we had. Like, I just wouldn't want to do that, and like you said, it came out because you were venting or whatever. That might be the case, and maybe I'm wrong thinking like you put that out for a reason, but like, I've never done shit like that, and I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't break the trust like that. But whatever, maybe I'm wrong by assuming that you did it on purpose. And because the way that I saw it was, there's only two reasons to have that out there. But hey, if you did it on accident, then I'm sorry for saying that, but that's just the way I felt, and I'm just being honest. It felt like, what other reason would that be thrown out there for? And then like, I understand that the guys that I went on their show, drama club guys, have like issues with the guy Frank and stuff on your show, and like have some issues going on with that. And like, in case you haven't heard, like, I haven't got involved in that. I don't go and a comment on Frank, and I don't go and, go along with the whole thing when I am on with these guys, because I'm not on every show that they do. They do plenty of shows without me on it. You can go look on Mars Mirror's channel. There's plenty of shows, plenty of live streams that they do without me there. I'm not a co-host. I was on there last night, and I owed an explanation to those of you who I respect who asked me, why were you on there? How come? What's going on with that? Like, what's the deal? Are you buddies with them now, and you're like drawing a line in the sand, and are you like going against Joe with them? Are you doing this? Are you doing that? Are you part of it? And no, I was just simply there with them, hanging out, because they accepted me there. They wanted me there, and asked me to do a voice of a guy who I fell in love with, who's out there. And I don't really want to say his name, because I don't know if I exactly want to say his name yet here or not. But, it was a guy that I've been imitating lately, and he's just a character. He's a fucking character and a half. And I called in and did that. So there was nothing more to it. It was not to fuck with somebody. It wasn't to call anybody out or anything like that. And I'm sure the guys at Drama Club would vouch for me on that and tell you that, no, Kenny didn't call in to like get into beef last night or anything. Scott asked me a question. You guys know Scott. Scott is going to hit you off. He's going to try to get the question in there. He's going to try to get the content going and see what the answer is. Okay, so I knew that there'd probably be other questions, but at that point I had no clue that Drew like even told anybody about our private message that we had, and I had no clue that he brought it up on air. So I was answering questions and kind of shocked at the moment that I heard that, because I didn't know exactly what he said and all that either. So was not going on there to talk about Joe. Didn't want to talk about Joe. I don't want to bring up Joe. I only bring up Joe on my own shit, like talking about stuff that has happened in the past, or stuff like that. I try to separate it. If I'm going to come on here and address a situation, it's not going to be during our show. So I mean, you guys know that shit already, but so that's basically it. And I understand there's people out there that don't want to hear it and think this is all fucking retarded, and I get that. I think it's retarded too. I totally agree with you guys. There should be no reason why in the middle of Christmas and New Year's Eve I'm on here fucking, dealing with this fucking bullshit. But like I said, there's certain people out there that I respect enough that I wanted to come on air and give them an explanation that I do owe them. So that's why I did this today. And Drew's one of them. Drew's one of them. Of course, I'd rather work shit out and be cool with the guy instead of fucking being shunned and not being accepted and feeling not like I'm not wanted. And that is how I feel. And listen, I made my bed. I'm lying in it. I'm the one who left Joe's shit. And I didn't leave it because of Joe. I didn't leave it because of Scott. I left it because of the situations that just kept repeating themselves and repeating themselves and repeating themselves, and getting into fights and being questioned and being told not to do this or to do that, and having an ultimatum thrown at me. Like, that was the shit I was done with. I was done with it. And I was even willing to bury the hatchet and come back when I found out that I was off for the next 3 months on fucking Saturdays here and there. So I tried. I fucking tried. And now here we are. It's almost 2020, and it's time to move on. But I want to make things right for the people that I do care about. So that's why I came on today, to tell you guys what my intentions were and what I was doing on certain shows, and what, and why I did what I did and why I do what I do. So that's it, and Danimal, listen, you called me 800 times, dude. I don't want to be your enemy, but that is a little weird. Only my wife or my girlfriend or my parents would hit me up that many fucking times like it was an emergency. It's really weird. And I didn't want to be a dick to you, and I still don't. And I'm not your enemy, so I don't have any problem with you, bro. And if you hate me, that's fine. I'm not your enemy. And SC Steve, listen, dude, grow up and be a man. You're on other people's shit not too long ago talking about being a fucking man. Well, be a fucking man then. And don't let little tit Annie chat shit bother you, bro. Don't let it get you bent to where you got to come on to Twitter and rip me apart and say it's all me, because it's not all me. If you're getting into arguments with people in the chat, that's on you. It has nothing to do with me. What do you want me to do? Scold the people in the chat? You want me to scold them? The people who are arguing with you? Like, I don't know what you want from me, dude. You know, I'm just a schmuck that does a fucking show, okay? Like, it's no more, no less. Like, you know, come on. You know, and I don't want to fucking be heel Ken in 2020. I don't want to, like, shed this skin and be a cocksucker. I don't want to come on here and be a real prick, you know, and call shit out every night the way I see it, you know. I don't want to do that. I don't want to be a miserable motherfucker. I just want to have fun and do our shit. And even if I got to deal with bullshit drama every once in a while, that's fine. That comes with it. I get that. But, like, you know, just know that if you support me, and you support this channel and you support what we do, I'm going to try to do the right thing. And like I said, it's not always going to be the right thing, but I'm at least going to try. So that's it. Drew, if you want to talk behind the scenes and hit me up, I'm around. You know, I had Alex Payne. He came to me and he said, Ken, why I just want to ask you why you're going on their show, because obviously this is all going on, and I just want to get like an idea of why you're going on there. And I said to him, I'm like, okay, let me ask you a question. Why do you go on anyone's show? And he was like, to have fun, you know? And I was like, exactly. So I'm sitting at home with nothing to do for the first time in a couple of nights. And these guys are like, hey, call up Ken. You know, whether it be Young Republican on his own calling me, or them saying, hey, let's get Ken in here and do that voice, and or whatever the case may be. There's someone who showed interest and people who showed interest, and I'm around and I'm here, then why can't I interact with people that I'm not brawling with? I mean, I know we have a fucked up history, all of us together, but I have a fucked up history with Joe. You know, so if I can interact with him, and every time I'm on a call with Joe, and this is stuff that you guys don't hear because it's on Scott's channel or it's on, you know, another channel, YR's, that maybe not all of you guys listen to, but there are times within the last month that I've been on a phone call with Joe and Scott at the same time, and all three of us are very fucking cordial and very funny and laughing and having a good time reminiscing and talking about all kinds of shit like normal men do, just like a normal person does. No beef, no bullshit, just having fun. That was not even a month ago. The three of us were on a call doing that on Scott's stream. So it's not a shock that I'm calling these guys and interacting with them. It's just my time right now. And like I said, next month, who knows what happens? I don't want to be in a fight with Scott or those guys or anything like that. But who the fuck knows what the future brings? Because I got news for you. Don't be shocked.
Yeah, she didn't take that goddamn segue. You know, I often wondered if King was Kane. And Kane was... Oh, shit! Oh, it's always on my mind.
What I was saying was, don't be shocked if in a month from now you see Joe calling Scott and those guys and having fun with them, or JB.
Cerebral palsy.
I was simply venting about my Christmas. I made myself look bad if anything by saying I fucked up when I confronted you. If it was wrong for me to mention them, I'll apologize again. But I'll be honest. I'm about done with all this YouTube shit.
I don't blame you. I'm about done with it too, man. You know, and listen, we had a conversation. You called me out and said, hey, why are you saying this and why are you going after Joe? I explained to you why and why I thought that it was bullshit that you were calling me out. And I explained to you why I was saying what I was saying about Joe. And at the end of that conversation, you apologized and said, you know what, man, you're right. I was wrong. I shouldn't have called you out. You're a grown-ass man, and I understand what you're saying. So what is so bad about that? I mean, like, you didn't, you know, like, listen, you brought it up on air. You brought it up on air. It is what it is. I wouldn't have brought it up on air, but it is what it is, man. And I'm not going to hold it against you. And maybe you did it by accident. Maybe you didn't. I don't fucking know, man. But all I do know is I don't hate you and never did, never will. And you always cool with me and always came on to my shit, always showed me respect. And I've always done that to you. And you know that. Me and you have had some really deep conversations, bro. And you know that, man. Me and you have had some deep, deep conversations. And I got to say, some people do come to me and say, like, you know, do you realize Drew used you? Do you realize you're just a step in the ladder on his way up to Joe? And I'm like, no, dude, you're wrong about that. Like, you don't know him like I do. and you're wrong about that. You know, Drew is a legit good guy. And I do think that of you. I do think you're a legit good father, good husband, good friend. I do think that. 100%. You know? I just think this YouTube shit has a way of changing people and making them be what they don't want to be. And I've done it myself. I've done it myself. I've been this asshole I don't want to be. It sucks. Because we all have integrity. We all have love in our hearts. We all have fucking empathy and want to be good and want to do the right thing. You know? I think for the most part, all of us do in here. So, I mean, I understand you're sick and tired of this shit, and so am I. So I'm going to leave it at that. So, listen, for those of you who are sick and tired of hearing this shit, this is why I don't bring it up on the regular shows. So if you want to check out a regular show and you don't have to deal with drama and all the bullshit, come and check us out every Wednesday and Saturday night on the Foul Mouths Network, 9 o'clock Eastern. And you can also check us out on the one and only Patreon family, who is why I really came on today, to those people who directly support me, Mike, and Chris, and Lucky Low, and everything we've done here. So, Happy New Year. I will be on before the new year ends again, because I will not end this year with this video. But you guys all have a great one, and I'll talk to you guys soon, and God bless. Anybody has any questions, hit me up. I'll answer anything.